just scrolling through my Twitter feed, I'm seeing pictures of Vorkath's drop table apparently having been updated. I mean, look at this one. 27 Battle Staff, 27 Green Dragon. I had Sick Nerds even talking about it. What's this one? 76 Dragon Balls, 3 U Seeds. I think I may have to test this out because this might be new and improved. So the new boss Vorkath, which you can kill after completing Dragon Slayer 2 either on task or off task, was released sort of, I don't want to say underwhelmingly in terms of loot, mechanically wise, and I guess fun wise, if that's a factor. People were having a lot of fun killing it, but the loot from it was pretty lackluster, wasn't that great at all. I think maximum GP per hour is anywhere from 700 to 800k an hour, which, as you know, for a boss like Vorkath, just shouldn't be, a thing. After many requests from people in the community, they did actually end up buffing the drop table of Vorkath, and by quite a bit. I mean, quite a bit. You guys saw that Twitter feed right there. I was really excited to try it out because this seemed sort of like the alternative Zulrah. It's like the new version of Zulrah. Not necessarily new and better and new and improved for loot, but sort of just equal to Zulrah, but just something else to kill, something else to mix it up and still earn great GP per hour. So I, like many, decided to instantly rush to this boss and try to kill as many as possible because you could just smell a nerf in the air. You could smell an upcoming nerf after they released this drop table because people were estimating crazy high numbers with GP per hour when they first released this new drop table. So I actually borrowed some gear from my friend again, who let me, purchase the best gear possible for this at the time, which apparently was, Armadillo and Bandos for the spec in the beginning. And apparently BGS is actually the best thing to use here instead of Dragon Warhammer. So the first few kills here, I actually used Dragon Warhammer, but later I switched over to the BGS because it was cheaper and it did probably more damage than the Dragon Warhammer did, all right? Anyway, that's what everybody was telling me, that the BGS was actually better. So just as I was getting used to the boss, they actually ended up announcing, well, the nerf. Alright, so check this out. Within 1 hour of Vorkath's drop table being changed, it's actually been changed again. Like within an hour. You can see right here, additional change, which was like for me 20 minutes ago. We've lowered the quantity of certain items dropped in one roll and increased the drop weighting of certain items. So this won't drastically impact the overall GP per hour of killing Vorkath, but will reduce the amount certain items are being introduced into the game. So I did, I think, 6 kills, and then they nerfed it again. It's apparently slightly nerfed. It's not going to change it that much, but we'll see, I guess, from now on how much things are actually going for and how much loot you're actually getting. As with most videos that I put out, I really like when there's discussion in the comment section below. So what do you think of the new and improved Vorkath drop table? Do you guys think they finally found the sweet spot in terms of, GP coming into the game per hour, items coming into the game per hour? Do you guys think it's finally, worth it to go there? Do you guys find the whole death penalty thing fair? The fact that you have to pay 100,000 GP to get your items back if you die there. Do you guys like that idea? Do you think they should implement that to Zulrah? Should that actually be a thing, though? I don't think they'd ever do that to Zulrah. That would cause way too much outrage. But the fact that you actually, there's a money sink now with that. Apparently, the guy who collects the money from you when you die there made like over 7.8 bill in the first few days, which is 78,000 deaths or something, which is crazy. In terms of kill times for the new Vorkath, I've sort of seen the same times that people are getting on average for Zulrah. Usually an average Zulrah kill will take, if you're pretty good at it, will take anywhere from a minute to a minute and 30. If you're very lucky, you'll consistently get under a minute, most likely if you have a twisted bow on you. In my case, I was getting anywhere from 1 minute and 30 seconds all the way up to 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes, if it was a bit of a slower kill, because it does actually have a couple of unique mechanics. It has the whole, it freezes you and throws out a spawn at you, and you have to use Crumble Undead to kill it. It has the whole, take your prayer off. It has the poison splats on the ground where you can then, either do the Wook's Walk, which is, I'll show it on screen right now. I did it for a couple of kills. The Wook's Walk is a method that Wooks found out the first day this boss was released, where when trying to avoid the dragon's fire that he throws at you in this like rapid phase, you can actually just go back and forth and attack the boss, negating all damage from him, but you consistently do damage to the boss. So nobody ever thought really, that would be possible, but Wooks found a way, and they said that it's an acceptable mechanic, so they are going to keep it in the game. But you can also, if you want, just sort of walk back and forth and avoid the dragon's, damage, and also avoid the poison splats on the ground. Now, doing this will obviously sacrifice a bit of damage on the boss itself. It'll slow down your kills probably by 15 to 20 seconds, but for some people, they just prefer not to die as much instead of just doing, the Wook's Walk itself, because it is difficult to learn. I mean, once you learn it, I feel like it's something you just sort of get the hang of, and you can start doing it consistently without even thinking about it. But, getting used to it is a bit clunky in the beginning. And for me personally, I did understand the Wook's Walk. I did do it for a couple of kills, but I found myself dying a lot more when attempting it. I don't know why. It's just something about it I just found really hard to get used to. I did it for a couple of kills, as I say, I understand the concept behind it, but at the end of it, I was just like, I'm dying too much. I think I died like 3 times in a row, and I said, okay, you know what? If my GP per hour wants to stay high, I should probably just start avoiding the damage, start walking around instead. So for about, I think out of the 60 kills I did, I think 5 of the kills I did the Wooks walk, and then for the rest of them, I just avoided the damage by walking around. And as I said earlier, I am probably sacrificing 15 to 20 seconds, but just by walking around. But for me personally, it's not that big of a deal. If you're going, for max cash per hour there, then you probably want to consistently learn the Wooks walk. I still managed to do a 1 minute and 20-second kill there. Obviously, the hits at the beginning of the kill with your BGS or Dragon Warhammer or whatever you're using are very important. If you hit high with them, you're going to be doing a lot more damage during the kill. If you don't hit high, it's most likely going to be a slower kill. I was using rune darts in my blowpipe, and that was totally fine. I also heard of a lot of people using adamant darts and having, just as much success, and then dragon darts probably are a bit overkill. I'm assuming rune darts are actually probably the most cost-efficient thing here, but if you, disagree, let me know in the comments if you think something else is better. I have to say, though, the boss's drops are pretty much an Ironman's dream. I mean, there's crushed nests in there, there's blue dragon skills in there, I mean, there's just blue dragon hide in there, which is amazing for crafting. This is a great boss for Ironmen to kill for XP per hour. I got a crazy amount of hides from here, not only blue dragon hide, but also green dragon hide, red dragon hide, and black dragon hide. So again, I'm just so tempted just to attempt this right away on my hardcore, even though I should probably get a blowpipe first when doing this, because I think killing Vorkath with a blowpipe is probably the most efficient way to do it. Actually, it is. I'm just going to go on a limb and say it is. I believe you can kill it with the Hasta as well with the melee route, but I'd prefer just to do the, blowpipe method, which is obviously, blowpipe is crazy overpowered. Have you guys ever thought about that? Blowpipe is just, ever since it came into the game, it's been the consistent best thing to kill a boss for most bosses, which is just crazy. Anyways, that's a whole nother video right there. You get a lot of seeds, you get a lot of bones, not only the new superior dragon bones, but also regular dragon bones as well. You got onyx bolts in there, you got some fletching supplies in there, you have a bunch of dragon items in there like the dragon plate skirt, plate legs, and the dragon longsword, alkabols, and the rune longsword. So again, it's just sort of the perfect package, not only for an Ironman, but just for, I guess, in general for GP per hour, because these things are always going to be selling on the Grand Exchange. Now, the only thing that I would say it lacks is, I guess, a bunch of rare unique drops. You do have the new skeletal visage, you have the regular draconic visage in there, you have obviously the head as well, and you have yourself the new, I think it's called the Dragon Bone necklace, but that sort of pales in comparison to, I want to say, Zulrah, which has, the Onyx drop, it has the Serpentine Visage drop, it has the Magic Fang, it has the Tanzanite Fang, it has a lot of rare drops there, including the pet as well, and this does have a pet, Vorkath, who's pretty cute, but, the chance of me getting him is non-existent, because my pet luck absolutely sucks. But everybody prefers different things. So I guess based off what you guys have seen from this Vorkath boss, would you guys prefer to camp this boss, or would you guys prefer to camp Zulrah? In my case, I'm still sticking with Zulrah until I learn to kill Vorkath more efficiently, because in terms of Zulrah, I could probably on my main do 4 to 5 kills there in one trip, but on Vorkath, I think I would consistently probably get minimum 1, obviously, sometimes 2 a trip. But it's so random, the amount of damage that you take there sometimes. I feel like Zulrah, you can negate a lot of the damage that comes your way if you know the boss itself. The only thing you have to watch out for is when, Zulrah's on the mage phase and throwing out range attacks on you. With this boss, you're going to be hit either way when some of those range attacks come at you. And if you get, misclick at all, it's a bit rough. But anyways, that's interesting discussion right there. Zulrah or Vorkath in your eyes. So I did 5 hours here and I managed to get 60 kills, which is pretty mediocre, I'd say. It's pretty bad actually compared to some of the other people. I feel like there's people on 1,000 kill count already, which is absolutely insane. But in my case, I did 5 hours and I got 60 kills. I was still sort of learning the boss as I started this. So for me, I was pretty happy. Now I did die 6 times in those 5 hours. So we do have to take away 600,000 GP from the final loot just because, that's how much I spent on getting my items back. So anyways, here's the loot from 5 hours of Vorkath, or 60 kills. So how much did I make from my Vorkath kills? Now I actually have my Vorkath kills combined with my Rune Dragons tab from, my last video, and I actually don't know the, final price of my Vorkath loot, so it's a surprise for me right now as well. This is the first inventory of loot, but as you guys can see right here, we actually managed to get 4 Vorkath heads. We have 3 right here, which is, I feel like, incredibly lucky. We actually used the other head on the assembler already, since we got that on the 2nd or 3rd kill, so we turned that into that, and we have 3 extra now. I don't really know what I think I can actually use this with a Slayer Helm, right? Which looks really cool, so I may actually do that in the future. But 1 in 50, I believe, is the drop rate of this. We managed to get 4 in 60 kills. I find that to be incredibly lucky. Anyways, here we have the first inventory of loot, and this is going to add up to 5.7 mil. I wish it was 7.8, but 5.7. I think that things are probably going for a lot cheaper now that everybody is pretty much just camping Vorkath. So yeah, I mean 5.7 mil, that right there already means it's over 1 mil per hour, and I actually have a couple more things I need to pull out. So here we go, 5.7 mil from this inventory. And here we have the final 10 items, which adds up to, wow. Wait, how does this add up to? That's crazy. Okay, that's actually 2 mil right here. What's the most expensive? Ah, the nests and the battle staves. Nests are crazy expensive. Wow, I didn't expect that. Anyways, 2 mil from that. What is that, like 1.5 mil an hour or something, I think? I'm just going to check. I really don't know. Well, actually, we have to take away the 600,000 for the deaths I had as well in those 5 hours. So if I just take away from the final loot, that just makes it 7.1 mil. So let's see, 7,100,000 divided by 5 hours. 1,420,000 GP per hour in those 5 hours. So 1.4 mil an hour from those 5 hours. And I wasn't not even close to doing it efficiently because, as I mentioned earlier, I wasn't really doing the Wook Swak most of the time. I did it for some kills, and then other kills, I just didn't do it at all because I found myself dying a lot more when attempting to do the Wook Swak, when I was just like, maybe I should just be consistent with this. I mean, I'm losing 100,000 GP every time I die here, so I probably should just play it safe. Just, you know, sacrifice those 10-15 seconds of not taking any damage, and maybe just, you know, go for more consistent kills. So with that, 1.4 mil an hour, which is a bit less than I'd be making at Zulrah right now, but that's because I have Zulrah sort of just memorized in my head. It's very consistent money. I know how to do it. So I feel like once I would learn Vorkath a lot more, I could get this GP per hour much higher. Now, in terms of gear, I'm not really sure how much, let's say, Armadillo and Bandos would change the time as opposed to what I was wearing, which was the Void Elite. I saw, you know, many people using Void Elite and having fast kills. So I think it just comes down to a bit of RNG and a bit of, you know, how good you are with the mechanics, which is pretty much every single boss. So 1.4 mil an hour from the boss in those 5 hours. The fact that Ruined Dragons are close to, you know, a bit over 1 mil per hour at the moment, and you just stand there is, as you know, for me, pretty great. But I am happy that they finally buffed the drop table, making Vorkath worth it again. I feel like a lot of people enjoy Vorkath and are probably going to be doing that instead of Zulrah. Just the only thing is that the fact that it has a 100,000 penalty every time you die, and Zulrah, let's say, doesn't, is, I don't know, a bit strange. We'll see if they change anything with that. But anyways, guys, thank you all for watching. I appreciate you tuning in to this video. I will have a new one out tomorrow because it is Update Thursday as well. Anyways, if you made it this far, please drop a like on the video. Make sure to drop a comment as well. Thank you all for watching. Hope to see you next time. Have a good one, and peace.
Wow.